Cape Town, arguably the most beautiful city in the world. There's a reason why it was voted the greatest city on earth in 2023 and has become the trendiest destination to travel to. We're so lucky to call this city home, and today we want to show you how to plan the best trip here.
Whether you like soaking in the sun on world-class beaches, sipping wine in some of the most jaw-dropping valleys, indulging in mouth-watering African cuisine, or exploring the rich cultural history, Cape Town offers something for everyone.
We've done almost everything there is to do in this city. You can watch these 2 videos over here. You can also watch our full guide video to learn absolutely everything to know before visiting here. From safety to transportation to budget to accommodation, we cover it all. In this video though, we're going to narrow it down to the absolute must-dos and help you plan the perfect 10-day itinerary.
This trip is brought to you by GetYourGuide. Almost all of the activities and tours mentioned in this video are available to book on the platform. We'll talk more about them later though, let's get started. Flying into South Africa, you're likely to land in one of 2 places, either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Johannesburg is where you should land if you're wanting to visit the Kruger or Pilanesberg National Parks for some of the best safari locations in South Africa. Don't worry too much though, there are some safaris near Cape Town if you're planning to fly directly here. You'll land at Cape Town International Airport. It's about a short 20-minute drive without traffic into the city centre. You can organise a hotel transfer, rent a car or use Uber to get into the city. If you're renting a car, please make 100% sure you're taking the highway into the city. Do not let Google Maps take you on any shortcuts. As for where to stay, most tourists opt to stay anywhere along the Atlantic seaboard, around the V&A waterfront or in the city bowl. Our personal favourite and where we currently live is the Atlantic seaboard, specifically in Sea Point. It's a wonderfully vibey area with lots of cafes and restaurants and is very close to the promenade and the stunning Clifton beaches. We'll be doing a far more in-depth where to stay videos, so look out for that in the future.
For now, let's get started with this itinerary. Considering you're in these areas, we recommend starting with the Red Bus Tour. It's a hop-on, hop-off bus that stops at all the important tourist attractions in the city. It's the best way to get acquainted with where everything is and to learn the history about Cape Town in over 20 languages. You can catch it right here from the V&A in front of the aquarium. We'd suggest starting early in the morning and doing both the red and the blue routes. First, head to Table Mountain, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's definitely a bucket list destination. Head up the cable car, walk around, grab a quick bite at the cafe there, and then come back down. Then hop off the bus at Groot Constantia, the oldest vineyard in Cape Town, and famous for supplying wine to some of the most influential people in history. And finally, hop off at Hout Bay and grab a fish and chips with the seals. The bus will stop here at the V&A where you started. You can book yourself a beautiful sunset cruise with champagne and then either get a seafood dinner at Harbour House or a traditional potjie at Karibu African restaurant. Perfect first day. For links to all the best restaurants, over 20 accommodation options, best tourist attractions, beaches in Cape Town, grab our Cape Town resource pack available on our website. Day 2 is going to be another jam-packed day, but it's our favorite road trip. You're going to want to rent yourself a car or book a full day tour on GetYourGuide. It is best to have your own car to take your time, but do note, we drive on the left-hand side of the road and the right-hand side of the car in South Africa. So if you're not used to that, we don't suggest doing this drive yourself.
It's time to explore the southwesternmost part of the African continent. Head down to the Cape Point Nature Reserve. Here you'll go up the funicular to see some wildlife, a very old lighthouse, and discover some hidden beaches. Then, on your way back, stop at Boulders Beach to visit Africa's biggest colony of African penguins. There is a viewing deck here where you can see how the little guys live, but our favorite thing to do is to go down to the beach on the right, pack a picnic, swim with the pengies, and just chill. Please be respectful of the little guys, this is their home, and definitely don't try and touch them. We did this with our retreat group and it was awesome. Then on your way back from Boulders Beach, do Chapman's Peak drive home. It has to be up there as one of the most beautiful drives in the whole world. Be sure to stop off and take in the views. We suggest packing some wine for this. If you have time, then stop at Hart Bay if you didn't already on day one. Because it was such a busy day, either order food to your place via Uber Eats, or you can stop at Mojo Market for a quick bite, a drink, and live music. Day 3, we're calling this the Water Day. Cape Town has incredible sea life, so it makes total sense to explore that. One of the best ways to do it is a kayak with Atlantic outlook. It's always a surprise what you're going to see out there. Last time we saw seals, dolphins, and a whole whale breach right in front of us. Not to mention the beautiful views of Table Mountain, Lion's Head, and this magnificent city. Our retreat guests said this was an absolute highlight for them. Once again, you can book your trip on GetYourGuide. After the kayak, head to Tasha's for a yummy breakfast. We suggest spending the rest of the day relaxing on one of the many amazing beaches that are all free, by the way. Our favorites are Clifton 1 to 4, Buckhoven, Beta, Camps Bay, The Glen, and of course Llandudno. That evening, if you're feeling fancy, make a reservation at Fane Restaurant, one of the best restaurants in Africa. Otherwise, there are so many other awesome restaurants in Cape Town. We've linked many of them in our resource pack for you. Day 4, and it's time to go on safari.
I'm sure an African safari is on your bucket list and is a big dream of yours, but did you know you don't have to go all the way to Kruger National Park just to see the Big 5? There are Big 5 reserves right here near Cape Town.
Garden Route Game Lodge and Aquila are the nearest and most popular. We'd suggest spending 1 to 2 nights. You'll do 2 drives for each night that you stay. Be warned though, these locations are super busy and a little touristy, especially Aquila, and if you want a better safari overall, it's best to fly to Kruger or the Pilanesberg National Parks as we've previously mentioned. Still, being able to see wild animals that you've never seen before is going to be a highlight for you.
As we mentioned, this video is brought to you by GetYourGuide, by far our favorite platform to use on our travels to book fun experiences on, tours and entry tickets. The safaris we just mentioned are available on the platform and we've linked those down below for you. No matter where you are in the world, you will always have something fun and interesting to book during your time there, whether it be a cooking class or a city tour. Our 3 favorite things about GetYourGuide is, number 1, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance and get a full refund. Number 2, they offer skip the line opportunities, which we'll definitely be using in Italy soon. And number 3, they have a fantastic app that is so organized and easy to use. Definitely consider using them on all your future trips, including this one to Cape Town, and when you use any of our links, we'll get a small kickback at no extra charge to you, so you're helping us make more videos like this. Thank you GetYourGuide for making our travel so epic. Let's get back to the video.
Day 5, after your safari, take it easy at the lodge. It's been a busy trip so far. You'll get back to Cape Town late afternoon, check into your second accommodation. That afternoon or evening, you can head to the markets if you want. Some of our favorites are on the screen now. Or something else we recommend is book yourself a dinner at Gold Restaurant. It's an African themed restaurant with live entertainment, face painting, 14 courses of incredible food, dancing, and just proper African vibes. Day 6, one of the things Cape Town is known for is its amazing hikes. You have to do 1 or 2 while you're here. Without a doubt, the most popular is Lion's Head. We'd suggest doing it either sunrise or an hour or 2 before sunset. If it's a hot summer's day, avoid going in the middle of the day. There's no shade and you'll just die of heat. It takes about 1.5 hours to get up and around the same to get down. Besides Lion's Head, there are so many other hikes. Table Mountain is an epic one and there are a number of routes up. Do Platteklip if you're up for a challenge, or Constantinek for beautiful views of the wine fields down below. Fun fact, if you don't want to hike alone, and you shouldn't anyway, you can book a hiking guide on GetYourGuide. If you're looking for a more relaxed but beautiful hike, our favorite is Lion's Head Contour.
We are on the contour of Lion's Head. It's incredible. Look at the 12 apostles behind us. Oh my gosh, you have to do it. It's just best hikes in the world.
You're going to be pretty tired after the hike and crave a cold water dip. So head to one of our favorite places in Cape Town, a rock pool beach called Saunders. There's always such a great vibe here. Other cool rock pools for a dip are Camps Bay or Maiden's Cove, which has insane views of the 12 Apostles. That afternoon, once you're all freshened up and had a nap, if you're like Claire, you'll need one, pop by Bo-Kaap for some photos and dinner. Bo-Kaap is known for its colourful houses and vibrant Cape Malay food. The area, formerly known as the Malay Quarter in the 1760s, where huurhuisies, which means rental houses in Afrikaans, were built and leased to slaves by the Dutch colonists. The houses were only to be painted white during this period, but once the people of this community found freedom, they painted the houses in bright and colourful hues to symbolize that freedom. It's a very iconic place to explore here in Cape Town. Cape Malay food is by far our favorite cuisine in South Africa, and eating it in Bo-Kaap is the most authentic way to experience it. You have to head to either Bo-Kaap Kombuis for dinner or Faiza's home kitchen anytime during the day for a quick bite. Day 7, this is our adrenaline junkie day. If you're not one of those, don't worry, we'll share some alternatives with you. Cape Town is an adrenaline junkie's heaven. We've got such epic things to do, from abseiling Table Mountain, to paragliding off Signal Hill, to swimming with sharks, to snorkeling with seals. The options are endless. You're going to start your day with breakfast on Kleur Street in Gardens. There are tons of lovely cafes to choose from. From there, head up Signal Hill for the flight of your life. You're going to be paragliding right over the Atlantic seaboard, down onto the promenade, but don't worry, the landing is super chilled.
Oh my gosh, I actually didn't know what to expect, but that was some of the most incredible scenery. We flew over the ocean and I'm pretty sure I saw a dolphin. Like, oh my gosh. Guys, you really have to do this.
After your flight, book an afternoon of swimming with seals. You have a short 30-minute drive to Hout Bay, but be warned, the sea can be rough on certain days, so pack motion sickness pills if you're prone to that. If you decide to do the shark cage diving on this day instead, then leave early, as you'll have a bit of a drive ahead of you down the coast to a town called Gansbaai, where the great whites sometimes hang out. Alternatively, if you're not a junkie, hire a car and do a short road trip for breakfast or lunch to one of the many cute towns nearby. Some of our favorites are St. Helena Bay, Paternoster, Langebaan for grease vibes, Kalk Bay for cute coffee shops, or Hermanus, which is super famous for the whale watching during the months of June to December. Day 8. We recommend spending this day in one of the renowned wine regions of South Africa. Stellenbosch, Paarl, Constantia and Franschhoek are among the best. We suggest doing the latter, Franschhoek, which means French corner in Afrikaans and refers to the Huguenot settlers who, fleeing religious persecution in 17th century France, found solace in this idyllic valley situated about an hour drive from the center of Cape Town. Franschhoek is known for its incredible food and rolling vineyards. The most popular thing to do in this little town by far is the wine tram, which was designed specifically for tourists to experience tastings at a number of vineyards.
Welcome to the Franschhoek Wine Tram. It is a must-do in Cape Town if you're a big fan of wine and really good food.
You'll spend most of the day on the tram getting crunk. Please pace yourself because the wine here is pretty strong and of course plentiful. Franschhoek is also known as the culinary capital of the Cape, so be sure to make a reservation at one of the outstanding restaurants. And if you're really feeling the effects of the wine, then we suggest spending a night here. We stayed at Farm Sanctuary, home to the famous painting pig Picasso, which also happens to be one of the stops on the pink tram route. Day 9. South Africa has a rich but pretty dark history, and Cape Town in particular has so many different museums to visit. We'd suggest spending a day learning more about the history and local culture here.
While Cape Town is very beautiful, it's also got a lot of inequality, and often tourists don't get to experience the authentic and very real way the majority of South Africans live here. A township tour is a great way to learn about the vibrant communities that play a role in the city's history and continue to shape its cultural landscape. Something else you can do is a trip across the bay to Robben Island. You can usually see it, but today it's covered in mist. But this is where former President Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 18 years and is a significant place to visit if you love history.
The full tour, including the ferry ride from the V&A, takes around 3.5 hours. We recommend you book this one in person at the Gateway to Robben Island building or on their website. Next up is the Heart of Cape Town Museum, where you'll learn about how Christian Barnard, a South African cardiac surgeon, performed the world's very first human-to-human heart transplant operation. Just remarkable, we're so proud. And finally, the Zeitz Mocker Museum of Contemporary Art. It's gorgeous and worth a visit if you appreciate art as well.
Day 10, and it's the end of your time here in the Mother City. You're either off home, or if you're lucky, onto the garden route or one of the national parks, which we actually recommend. If not, you'll still go home with the best memories ever, and we're 100% certain that you'll be back for more. On the last day, we recommend strolling around the V&A waterfront. There are many markets and courier shops you can explore to find some cute little knickknacks to take home, and of course to support our awesome local artisans. Don't forget to grab our Cape Town resource pack before you start to plan. We hope you found this video super helpful, and if you did, we'd appreciate if you could give it a like. It helps more people see the video. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.